Hi guys, Adam here from Brighton and Hove Guitar Lessons. Welcome to our video on Stairway to Heaven, more specifically the guitar solo. Played by Jimmy Page, early 1970s, on a Telecaster. Today I'm playing the Strat for various reasons we won't go into. But this solo has a lot of relevance to me personally. I remember being a 12-year-old aspiring guitarist and listening to this solo in complete awe, just saying to myself, how does a person do that? How does a person make that sound? But also making a bit of a promise to myself, oh, I'm going to learn this solo. One of these days I'm going to be able to play this solo. And I envisioned it would take a lifetime to learn it, but you know, in reality it didn't take that long. And a lot of that is due to the fact that it uses a lot of the pentatonic shapes that we were talking about in Dave's lesson previously, about the 5 pentatonic shapes, specifically of the A minor scale. It all falls under the fingers if you've learnt your pentatonic shapes, and it just has the occasional additional note, which I'll talk about when we get to it. But yes, it's a prime example of one of those classic rock solos using the pentatonic shapes that we've been talking about, and it is played over a very simple chord progression, 3 chords: A minor, G, and F major 7. So, classic rock territory there. You could use the natural minor scale over this, but what Jimmy Page has done on this solo, it's mostly pentatonic, and he adds the flat 6th note, which in this case is F, and that is derived from the natural minor scale, and he only uses it over that F chord. So for the most part, it's all pentatonic shapes, until that F chord lands, and he will hit that additional F note. And I'll make a point of it when we get to it. So it's set out in licks, lick, lick, lick. You know, there's a pause between each one, often a position shift. So let's take it one lick at a time. This is the first one. Volume up. So you'll recognise that that is the first position of the minor pentatonic scale, but it ends on a note outside of that scale. So let's go through it again. It starts with the bend on the G string, 7th fret, the note D up to the note E, and then you go down the pentatonic scale from the 5th fret of the high E string, so 8th fret on the B, 5th fret on the B, 7th fret on the G, 5th fret on the G, 7th fret on the D, 5th fret on the D string, and then lastly that 8th fret on the A string, the note F. That is obviously outside of our first position minor pentatonic shape. And as I said before, that lands on the F chord. It brings real emphasis to that chord. So again, it is. After that pause, we're now into position 2 territory. Now again, there's one note that sticks out there. It is outside of the minor pentatonic framework. It is that F note again. So let's go through it slowly. A slide from the 8th fret on the B string to the 10th fret, 8th fret on the high E string, and then a bend from the 8th fret to the 10th fret, 8 again, that's 10 and 8 and 10 on the B string, a slide from the 8 to the 10, back to the 8th on the high E string, and then a run down, 10, 8, 10, 8, 10 on the G string, 8 to 10 on the B string. So yes, that 10 on the G string is the odd one out. It's the F note again, drawing from that natural minor sound. The lick following that, we revert back to position 1 in a very similar lick to the opening one. Quite a long one, that one, so we'll go through it again. So it starts with the bend, like the one at the start of the solo, and again a run down from the high E string, we'll go through that. So 5th fret on the high E string, 8th fret on the B string, 5th fret on the B string, 7th fret on the G string, 5th fret on the G string, 7th fret on the D string, 5th fret on the D string, 7th fret on the A string. I'm confusing myself here. Let's go through that again. And then so when you get to the A note, which is the 7th fret on the D string, you use your 3rd finger to bar across to the 7th fret on the G string. So that's all familiar pentatonic shape. You're going from the top down, and then you revert up a little bit and come back down again. And then there's this cool thing he does where he goes on the 5th fret of the G string, open. Again, a similar coming down the pentatonic lick, but landing on that F note. The next lick, we're moving up to position 3. So like I said before, this really goes through every single position of the pentatonic scale, so it's a great piece to learn if that's what's still fresh in your head, that's the thing that you've been learning recently, especially if it was A minor. So, we're now in this position, up at the 10th fret, the 12th fret. We're going, we're sliding from the 10th fret on the A string to the 12th fret. Again, we've got this additional F note. What I'm doing there is, so I slide from the 10th fret on the A string to the 12th fret, and then using my first finger, I'm barring the 10th fret on the D string to the 10th fret on the G string. And then on the D string, 10, 12, 12, 10, 12 on the A string, 10 on the D string, and now we're sliding up to position 4 of the minor pentatonic scale. Let's do that again. So again, Jimmy Page is a master at moving between shapes of the minor pentatonic scale without it necessarily sounding like a block here, a block here, a block here. He slides from one position to another, or hammers from one position to another, and before you know it, you're in that next position as part of one long flowing line, as opposed to block followed by block followed by block. And that's within one lick. So this guitar solo is a series of licks, but Page will go from one position of the scale into another seamlessly, several times in this solo. So I'll go back to that part again. Quite a long one there, so I'll just take you through it. 10 to the 12, barring 10 on the D string, 10 on the G string, and then 12, 10 on the D string, 10 on the A string, 10 on the D string, and then we're sliding up into the new position of the scale, position 4, 14th fret of the D string, 12th fret on the G string, and then 12, 14, 13 on the B string, and now we're in screaming rock territory. We're going to have some aggressive bends. So, 15th fret on the D string, bent up to the 17th, and then 15, 13, 15, and then same thing but the string above, so 15th fret bent up to the A note on the 17th fret, and again there is that F note we keep talking about, the flat 6, which is outside of the pentatonic scale. The pentatonic box at this point is position 4, but we're including this note here. And then what is probably the best bit of the solo, in my opinion, is the repetitive lick that he does here at the 15th, 13th fret position. It's great when that happens in a solo, when you can get a lick going that repeats, that seems to change where it is lying within the bar. The more you repeat it, the tension builds up before the release of the big bend. So that is simply the 15th fret bent up to the 17th fret on the B string, back down again, 13th fret on the B string, 14th fret on the G string, back to the 13th fret on the B string. Repeated. Until then, which is the high E string, 15th fret, bend to the 17th fret. And that is a strictly pentatonic lick there at the end. So that is the 15th fret to the 17th fret bend, and then 12, 15, 12 on the high E, 15, 13 on the B string, then 14 on the G string, 13, 15, 13 on the B string, 14 on the G string, 13 on the B string, and then a bend from the 15 up to the 17 on the B string. Your third finger hangs underneath there. Got a floating tremolo arm here. On the G, the 15th fret on the high E string there. So one more time. Give it a nice shake there. This is a good moment to mention the overdub that happens here. It's a slide guitar part that falls in between Jimmy Page's licks as a sort of call and response thing. It sounds something like this. I'm not much of a slide player, but there you go, you get the idea. You can do it without the slide, obviously, but the notes are on the high E string, 8, 7, 8, 5. It's a very vocal line. As I say, it falls between each of Jimmy Page's licks as a call and response. Really, really great rock moment. So where are we up to? So that's obviously the second guitar part, overdubbing that. And we've just done our big... There's the lick there. Da, 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 da. We go up to position 1, right up the dusty end of the neck, 17th fret. You're up at the 17th fret with your first finger. You bend the 19th fret of the G string with your second finger up to the 21st fret. Use your third finger to hit the 20th fret of the B string, 17th fret of the E string, back to the 20th fret of the B string. So it's a very recognisable shape one of the pentatonic bit there. 19th fret on the G string bent to the 21st again. The slide overdub falls in there in between the different licks. Then there's a big bend. Now, I struggled to get this for a long while when I didn't have as much strength in my hand as I currently do now. It's a 3 fret bend on the G string. Fortunately, this is the part of the guitar neck that is the most easy to bend a note, both on the G string and around the 12th, 14th fret. It's where there's the least tension on the neck of the guitar. And you can do a big bend, but in this case it's a 3 fret bend, so your finger is on the 14th fret, but you're bending it to the 17th fret, which is quite a big one if you're not used to it. I use my second finger. So 14th up to 15th, 14th up to 17th, 14, 12, 14, and then bend from 12 to 14. Again, the slide overdub falls there. And now an even bigger bend. Again, luckily it's in the most bendable part of the guitar. It's at the 10th fret of the G string. This time it's the note F, bend all the way up to the note A, so it's a 4 fret bend. So you're bending from the 10th to the 14th fret. And it's quite a slow bend, so take your time getting into it, and use more of your hand than you would do normally. I tend to really push my hand up through the strings to get this big bend. So your destination note is this, and that's your start note. On some older style guitars you might not even be able to do this because of the curvature of the neck, or you might have a particularly low action and the note will choke itself off before it gets to the destination. But if that's the case, you need to raise your action a bit, or maybe you have very heavy strings. It's a tough one. Don't hurt yourself. But anyway, you nearly come off the top end of the guitar doing this bend. But anyway, it leads us back down into position 1 of the pentatonic scale. You might find you go out of tune a bit too, because it's such a big bend. So yes, the big bend, I won't keep doing it or my finger will fall off. And then it's 10, 9, 10, 9, 7, 5, 7, 5, 7 on the D string below. Oh, I missed out one note, the 5th fret on the G string, on the D string. 5, 7, 5, 7. Again, the slide overdub. And then the final lick of the piece. There's a real screaming one, up at the dusty end again, 17th fret. Again, recognisable as a position 1 shape of the minor pentatonic scale. Again, up at the dusty end of the neck, 17th fret with the 1st finger. You're barring the top 2 strings. And you're doing this, again, similar to earlier, a repetitive, rapid fire sequence of notes where you're going 20, 17 on the E string, and then 17 on the B string that you're barring. That's the pattern you're doing. Triplets, I believe it is. And then a final climactic big bend from the 20th fret up to the 22nd fret. And there we have it. That's the whole of the solo. Sorry if it took a while to get through it. There's quite a lot of notes in there that I've got to take you through. Really good if you can do this to a backing track for starters, that A minor, G, F major 7 sequence. But also if you can get another instrumentalist, ideally a guitarist, ideally with a slide, to do the call and response line that we talked about. Yeah, it's one of the best solos ever. It's one of the best sounding guitars ever. It's vocal in its phrasing, it's showy but without being too widdly. It's just epic. I love it. I've always loved it, and it's a pleasure to teach it to you. So thanks a lot. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have anything to request, any comments or questions, please leave them down below, and thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye. Hi guys, I'm Adam.
And I'm Dave.
And we're from Brighton and Hove Guitar Lessons. We hope you enjoyed that video. Thanks for watching.
If you did enjoy the video, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel, click the little bell icon so that you get all the notifications and you don't miss any of the great quality content we've got planned for this year.
If you have any questions about what you learnt today or any suggestions for any future videos, please let us know in the comments below.
Until next time, keep rocking. See you soon. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.